Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Dubs. I'm your host, Bill T. Welch. Friday, and it's time for another podcast. I didn't get one out to you guys last week. I got kind of swamped at work and just didn't have a chance to get one put out to you guys. So listen, man, sometimes you got to wait for the good stuff. And I was also in meetings with the hotel to lock in on one crazy weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on this podcast this week, as well as my trip down to the Roadster Show and to Doug Berg's memorial. So that's what we got happening on this week's podcast. And don't forget to support those that support Let's Talk Dubs. Most importantly, make your voice be heard by supporting these companies and let them know that you heard of them from your favorite podcast, Let's Talk Dubs. Ross Wolf, high quality aftermarket parts made for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. If you haven't checked out the little bit of situation going on with Ross Wolf, go check it out. And it's on their website with respect to, it's on their Instagram with some of their questions. They were dynoing some motors and a little bit of turmoil got started. But, listen, it's good conversation because us as enthusiasts, those guys are enthusiasts and they're buying stuff, assembling motors. They happen to have access to a dyno. So they put some results out that they thought they should have had better based on other stuff that they've assembled. So at any rate, if you haven't seen it, go see it, check it out. If you got any comments or anything like that on there, feel free to shoot me an email at bill@letstalkdubs.com. Also, I want to make sure that you guys support those that support Let's Talk Dubs. Go to rosswolf.com and pick yourself up some high quality aftermarket parts on their website. Some of your dipsticks, your Viton seals, lots of stuff. We got some giveaways coming up with Ross Wolf. So be ready. We're going to be giving away a Viton complete engine seal kit. All the Viton pieces that they make, we'll give away a couple of those sets, and I'll give instruction on how to do that toward the end of the podcast. Now, also, don't forget to subscribe to VW Trends Magazine, a magazine for the people, by the people. VW Trends back after a long hiatus. Go subscribe today at VWTrendsMagazine.com. I'm going to give a couple shout outs today. First shout out is coming all the way from Australia. Paul Ingram in Gordon, ACT, Australia, picked up a sticker pack and a shirt. So appreciate you for supporting the podcast, Paul, and thanks for being one of the guys, one of the solids that support Let's Talk Dubs. Also, we've got Tim Thompson out of New Brighton, Minnesota. Tim picked up some old school retro shirt, and definitely appreciate him for supporting the podcast. So good looking out. Appreciate all you guys that support the podcast and pick up some merch. Again, I'm working on some designs and things like that, so we'll get some new stuff out for you guys here shortly, but I got a couple of cool things in the works. So anyway, guys, without any further ado, let's get into it this week. One crazy weekend show update and the layout for you guys, as well as a report on Grand National Roadster Show and the Doug Berg Memorial. So let's get into it this week, guys, on Let's Talk Dubs.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen. It's got everything that people who like the Bug like.
Well, the big news is One Crazy Weekend is set for October 1st through the 4th. And I know last year we had like 3 days. This year it's going to be 4 days because Andy Finch and a bunch of the guys that are from out of town, they hung out at the pool all day on Sunday, and they thought, man, we should really make Sunday a pool day. So I said, if you guys want to do it. So Andy Finch from Spike's Vintage Restoration and Joey Giordano with Workstat Restoration, they are going to be taking over the pool area on Sunday. And it's going to be just kind of the cool down by the pool down. So you guys will be enjoying that. And I think I'll be staying there on Sunday as well. So we can hang out with all those guys and just enjoy the cool down from the weekend after, a crazy weekend of just pure chaos and fun. So lots of good stuff happening. If you haven't booked your rooms, I know that I saw some people, I put a link to the room booking and they were like, oh my gosh, the room's so expensive. Well, there was a glitch on their system. And on Sunday, it was charging like $800 for a day on Sunday. So I called the hotel yesterday. They've got that rectified. We've already gone through the shoulder dates that they had blocked, because what I've done with the hotels, they're blocking 4 days previous and 4 days after for those that are going to stay longer to get discounted room rates. And so now it's shouldered on both sides by 4 additional days for those that are coming from a long distance and want to stay a few days longer. They'll be discounted all the way through. So that's something you guys can look forward to. really saving you guys a bunch of money. A couple things that I want to notify you guys of. First and foremost, the cost of entry for the show has gone up. It was $30. It's now going to be $60, which is, you can look at it as $20 a day for $20 a day for VIP parking right out in front of the hotel. We've secured that space this year. The one thing that everybody's going to need to really, really understand and pay attention to is during show hours from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., no vehicles will be allowed to move in and out of the show space. So other than that, there's going to be 2 entrances. We're getting rid of a lot of the bicycle barricades that were there before. We're going to put concrete blocks there. So that way there's only going to be 1 ingress, 1 egress in each area. And but we're going to make it good this year, so that way no one has to stress and everything's kind of dialed in and locked down. So it's going to be definitely a bit of an improvement from last year. We're also still going to be doing the poker tournament on Thursday night. So if you have questions to how the poker tournament goes down, the poker tournament, you pay directly to the poker room. You pay $40. We're going to have a special prize to be given away on the poker tournament, to be determined at this point for this year. And but there's going to be a grand prize for the person who takes the final spot in the poker tournament. Last year I think we had 6 tables kicked off, about 8 people per table. So about 50 people, pretty close to 50 people got involved in the poker tournament. And it was just really a blast. If you've never played poker, this is probably the most fun way you can play poker. And so for your $40 entry fee that you pay to the hotel, it's got nothing to do with me. We just supply the prize. And for that admission that you pay for that, you'll get $12,000 in chips, and then they'll raise blinds about every 15 or 20 minutes. They raise the blinds, and so it progressively gets more expensive to play. So that way, it eliminates the gameplay pretty quick. I mean, some of these games can last up to 3-4 hours, but this one, I think it wrapped up in about an hour and a half, which is pretty good. It was really exciting to watch a lot of people play. Completely ridiculous. Well, I actually saw I saw Clyde Berg at Doug Berg's memorial this last weekend, and we kind of chatted for a few minutes about One Crazy Weekend. And he said, man, it's literally the best time I've had at a show in forever. He says the poker thing was like a bucket list for me. I've always wanted to play a poker tournament, and it was him and Danny Romero were the final, and Danny beat him with a pair of 6s. And he said it was a bucket list thing for me. He says I never had more, I've always wanted to play in a poker tournament, and I was able to play with a bunch of people that really, we're all not pros, and it's funny to watch the dealer have to tell everybody what they can do. So that's a riot in and of itself. You've got to make it to the poker tournament if you really want to have fun. Plus, it'll be completely worth it with the grand prize that you'll win for the poker tournament. That was just a really good time. So that's Thursday, right? In addition to all this, we've teamed up with the Punk Rock Museum to get discounts to all of our people that come out to One Crazy Weekend. And this is why there's free time, right? So if let's say you check in on Wednesday and you want to go check out some sites and drive your bug around, you'll be able to do that, and you'll get a discount at the Punk Rock Museum. You won't get in for regular price. You'll get in at a discounted rate and be able to go check that out. It's a pretty cool place downtown that you can check out, as well as some other stuff that we might be getting involved with, some other museums and some sightseeing places where they'll give people from One Crazy Weekend a bit of a discount to get in there. So we're just trying to make it more of an enjoyable long weekend for you guys of having a good time. I know that last year on Friday morning, the Type 34 group, they did a Red Rock cruise at like 10 o'clock. And then a couple of the guys ran out to Red Rock, did some photo shoots and stuff. And so it's really, it's kind of an open weekend on Friday where you just kind of do whatever you want Friday morning. And then Friday, we kind of have a midday meet and greet for some of the people that are latecomers and stuff. Just everybody hanging out in the parking lot and getting together to get registered for the show and finish up stuff like that. And Friday nights when we do the strip cruise. Now, we used to try to do the strip cruise in a situation where we try to, corral everybody together and go as a massive group. The problem is it's just way too difficult. So now we've done is at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, depends on when the sun starts to go down. We end up, and we'll, once we get to that time, it'll be more definite. But I think we did like 7 or 8 o'clock last year. May even have been 8 o'clock when we started the strip cruise. And and I think the easiest way to do it is the way we're doing it now. So it's just going to open strip cruise time where we go from this time to this time and we go cruise the strip. And so we get enough Volkswagens on the strip. You'll just be seeing guys going back and forth each way. And it's always, a couple weeks before the F1. So the strip sometimes has some construction and stuff, but most people had a great time. And usually the strip route that you want to take is you'll leave the hotel. You can go down Tropicana, or you can go further down to Sunset, further south, get on at Sunset and then run the strip the whole length. And a lot of people will get down to the Stratosphere, and there's a huge parking lot down there. They'll pull in right off Vegas Boulevard into a parking lot, the Stratosphere, kind of gather up a few people, and then they'll turn around and head back. And so it's just a great time, for like legit old school strip cruising and stuff like that. But what makes it different, it's on Las Vegas Boulevard, which is it is the best boulevard to cruise as far as lights and tourists and all that stuff, because the best part is you and your car become part of the show, and all of a sudden the people on the sides that are walking up and down, they just start looking for Volkswagens once they see big groups of Volkswagens coming through. So it's pretty exciting. It's a lot of fun, and it does not disappoint. So that's the Friday activities, as well as, I almost forgot, Friday during the day, I think it was at noon last year. Friday, we have the bowling tournament. So the bowling tournament was a good time. That was put on by Ross Wolf last year. And what they did is they had a cash prize that they gave to a few different select structured way that they had. If you did X, Y, or Z, you win some money. And so they had a pin, kind of a collective strike pool, and some other stuff. So this year they'll be doing that again. So it's a great time. Everybody had fun bowling. We end up bowling 2 games. Everybody bowls 2 games, so it's a good time, and it's $25. You'll do that through Let's Talk Dubs on the website, so you'll pay for that through Let's Talk Dubs on the website when you register. That's in addition to the $60 for the registration. Now, you can just look at the $60 as like show registration and kind of parking coverage, right? Because if I go to California, I pay like $20 a night to park my car in their dopey parking lot, and now you get front row parking at the hotel. So I don't think it's a hard sell, in addition to all the free stuff that you get. Unfortunately, with the expense that the show has costed with security and stuff like that, we've had to make an increase in adjustment to make it pay for everything. But it's definitely well worth every single penny. Now, a lot of you guys are starting to come in from out of town and things like that, out of the country. I mean, last year we had my boys shoot out from Australia. We had 15 people come out from the UK. I mean, there was people from the East Coast, from the Virgin Islands. We had people from all over at the event. So what we're going to do, because you'll be staying at the hotel, we're going to give everybody, because if you're part of the One Crazy Weekend event, you're going to get a discount. So what we'll do is we'll have some wristbands for people that are coming in from out of town that didn't bring a car, that are there to hang out for the weekend, so that when you go through the hotel and you eat at any of the Boyd property hotel, the hotel eating establishments, whether you go eat at Bailiwicks, or you go eat the Oyster Bar, or any of the Boyd gaming properties, you'll get 10% off your meal. So another way we're just trying to get you guys hooked up, as well as this year, one of the things they're going to do differently is they're going to take one of the storefronts that's not operating or leased right now, and they're going to open it up for a grab and go. So in the morning, they might have donuts and stuff for you to come by, pick up some donuts, or a bucket of beer in the afternoon, or whatever the case is, where it's going to be kind of specialty stuff for the One Crazy Weekend people. So we'll make sure that we get a way to get you guys, if you're there for the event but you didn't register for the show, we'll get you guys a way to identify yourself as being part of the event, so that you guys can get those discounts as well, because that's what it's all about, is making sure you guys have maximum fun for the least amount of money. And so that's Friday. So Friday is the bowling tournament that takes place at the property, and also the strip cruise. So strip cruise is a blast. And then Saturday is where we kick off the One Crazy Weekend car show. And that car show is become quite notable, because we have a best of a show. And I'm going to do something different this year, where if you're going to be competing for best of show, it's $1,000 for the prize for best of show. That will be a different registration altogether, that you'll submit your car and send me a picture of your car and all that stuff, because we're trying to get some of in the heavy hitter sections, what we call it. The heavy hitter section gets a specialty award made. There's just one award made for that. There's also some specialty awards, like Spike's Vintage Restoration does a specialty award for people that cars that he likes. In particular, last year it was the Arizona T bug that Eric owns, took a Spikes Award. And then there was another award handed out last year, as well as Buddy Hile's pick for it's the best of show. So Buddy Hile makes the trophy for our best of show, and it's a billet machine trophy that starts at about 5 pounds of aluminum, and they machine the thing down, and it's pretty rad. But in addition to that, you also get $1,000 prize. So that makes it really exciting to do that. And there's also a top 20 we pick. Now the top 20 that we pick, we go through and you get yourself probably the dopest trophy that's available short of the Best of Show Award. And that trophy is a gold-plated steel neck medallion. That's the Las Vegas sign that says One Crazy Weekend 2026 on it. It's super dope. It comes with a costume jewelry chain from Temu, supplied by yours truly. But it's super dope. And I think everybody that's got one has just been ecstatic about getting one. So, they're kind of bummed out that it's limited to 20, but I may do something extra special this year and make some miniature ones for some honorable mentions or cars that maybe didn't make the top 20, that maybe have a little bit of a specialty or something like that. So we'll see. I'm always looking to do something fun to make it just that much more exciting to be part of the show. And then the show wraps up at about 2:00. Then people can feel free to kind of pull in and out. Now, we're doing something different this year with pre-registration. When you pre-register for the show, we're expecting you to be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? If you're going to be there just Saturday for the show, it's $50 for Saturday only, and we're going to be pre-reserving spots. And so all the Saturday only cars will be on the second lot that's just adjacent to the main lot. So all those cars will be there, and we'll be doing some of the groups and stuff over there as well. But, just trying to make enough room for everybody that's there. And all you guys that come down in big groups, you guys can send me an email directly with a car count and names attached to that. Get me that within the next 2 weeks, and we're going to be assigning spaces for your clubs. And we'll put it on the map. So those spaces, once get opened up, will be blocked in for people, because we want to support those that have been supporting Let's Talk Dubs One Crazy Weekend. And so we want to make sure that those of you that have been supporting us for the past couple of years, that we want to make sure we've got a secured space for you guys. So it's important that you send me an email, Bill at Let's Talk Dubs, with the list of cars and the names of people that are going to be going. And then you'll have an opportunity to prepay before stuff goes on sale. And again, the criteria for this is you guys have been a club that's been supporting us. So Desert Dubs, the Salt City, I think Salt City Air Suckers is the group. The Oil Drippers, Wolfsburg's Finest. I mean, there's a lot of you guys out there that have been coming for years, and we want to secure your guys' spaces at this event because we know how much you guys really enjoy coming to Vegas. So you'll have to email me, Bill at Let's Talk Dubs. One person from your club email me and say, hey, we've got this many guys coming. We need these spaces, and you're going to be locked in on those spaces. You'll pay in advance. We'll get all that stuff locked up for you guys. But it'll just make it a lot easier for rolling in. And when you come in, your group just shows up and you guys are already designated your spaces. So no stress, no need to do any of that kind of stuff. But if you're going to be there Saturday only for the show, you're going to be parked in a separate spot. So unfortunately, that's the way that we're going to do it to make it where the main show field stays packed the whole time. So I'm excited to bring that to you. And then even better than the car show is the world famous poker run. So if you've never done the poker run costs $50. That $50 goes to the cash prize that I give away. We give away about $3,000 for the poker run. And so what we do, and last year in addition, thanks to Impy, we gave away a bunch of parts supplied by Impy, some exhaust and a bunch of other stuff that Impy had sent us for giveaways for the poker run. So there's first place, $1,199, not taxable. And second place is $500. Third place is $300. And the way that goes down is you'll drive around to 4 different locations in the Las Vegas Valley. And again, what we used to do previously is we put you guys all together in groups. Now everybody gets a map. You're free to go whatever location, whichever order that you want. So this way it's more up to you guys how to do it. There's a time limit that it's going to be done with, which has plenty of time to get to all the spaces. You will get to those spaces. Each time you go to a place, one place will be the Wagon. One was SoCal Speed Shop. Last year we had Butch's Speed Shop. And then we also had the top of the Gold Coast parking lot. So some of those may be the same. Some of those may change this year, but you'll go to those locations, you get dealt a poker card. You'll take that poker card, you'll go to your next location, you'll get dealt another card. Your total hand when you get back, I'll deal you personally your last card. Whoever has the best hand wins the main prize, second best, third best hand, likewise. And then we also do some additional giveaways and things like that. So we kind of give a raffle ticket when you come in, and we raffle some prizes off as well. So everybody's a winner. And last year we had pizza and drinks for a bunch of people. So it was pretty fun. This year we're going to do something just a little bit different, but it's still going to be the same. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that, because it's definitely something that is just brings me a lot of excitement and joy to watch you guys just have a blast, because I know what it's like to go to these events out of town and you show up. It was last year. Now it's this year. You made friends with people you met last year. And now it's like everybody's connecting and having this great time. They're also going to have some 80s bands in the lounge this year. So that should be pretty cool for you guys to have fun. Go to the lounge. They'll have some 80s cover bands in there just jamming out. So the hotel's really kind of making us want to feel like this is our spot. So I hope you guys appreciate all that extra stuff that goes into what we're doing this year. I make sure we're going to have a lot more merch available to purchase, because last year there was a little bit of a wait, and I know a lot of people don't like to wait. They like to grab and go get their stuff and just be done. And so we're going to have a lot of that stuff available. And if you guys aren't members of the show, like you don't get the free poker chip or this or that, what you end up doing is I'll have some of that stuff available for purchase for those of you guys that are coming in from out of town that want to get some souvenirs for One Crazy Weekend to commemorate the event. You know, last year we had posters that we gave out, and it had the One Crazy Weekend logo on it. In the middle of the poster had a big square empty space, and it said, "I partied with these guys at One Crazy Weekend 2025." And the way that I came up with that idea is when I went to the Roadster show, I was given a tin when I had my cars on display. And then Billy Gibbons came in after hours, and I was breaking down the podcast. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top was there with John Buck and Kevin Doyle and Carpo and those guys that kind of put on the Roadster show. And he was there, and somebody said, "Hey, do you have a Sharpie? I need a Sharpie." And I said, "Well, I'll have you I'll let you use my Sharpie, but you got to sign my tin." So I took the tin that I got from the Roadster show, and I had him sign the back of it. And then what I did for the rest of the weekend is everybody that I saw that was there as part of VW history, I had them sign the back of that tin. So it's kind of a cool keepsake for me. And I thought, when we do these posters, like, what do you do with a poster? The cool part is you can have that poster, have all your pals sign it that you partied with over the weekend, and then you hang it at home, and it's just another keepsake from a great weekend that you had in Vegas. So, it's just those types of things that we're doing for you guys that are making it really exciting, and the most important thing is it's a memorable weekend. And now this year we kick it off with Sunday. George T at the Wagon does a bike ride Sunday morning. So if you're not into swimming, you go do a bike ride with George T at the Wagon. So he's been doing that past couple of years. Last year they had a pretty good turnout, and you guys can go check that out. George will have information on that if you guys are down to do the bike ride on Sunday. So if you bring your bike in town, you want to go on a ride, hit up George T with the Wagon, and you guys will do some pedal pushing on Sunday morning. But the new addition to the One Crazy Weekend at the hotel is the Werk stat restoration and Spike's finish restoration, cool down at the pool down. It's going to be a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to be a pool area open for all the VW enthusiasts to hang out, enjoy, and just take it easy. So that's going to be really the weekend in a nutshell. And that's why this year it goes from the 1st to the 4th. I've had an incredible amount of feedback on the show. Again, we sold the first block of the first block of rooms already, and they're going to continue to keep opening up more. My hope is we can sell out the hotel and it just becomes an entire VW hotel. That's going to be something that for me is just my goal, is to get that place sold out. Now, if you do happen to come to town and you want to bring your Volkswagen, but you don't make the cutoff for the 400 cars, I'm going to work with the hotel on having some specialty parking in one of the areas in the parking garage. So you don't have to stress about your car, and you can bring your Volkswagen out there and still, even if you're not in the quote unquote the show, you're still able to kind of be part of everything going on. So that I'm looking forward to. There's just so much going on, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it so much that it just continues to keep growing by tremendous leaps and bounds every year. So appreciate all you guys for everything that you do and all the support that you guys give us here. And so I'm looking forward to that. So go to more information, go to letstalkdubs.com. It's actually less information on letstalkdubs.com, but what is at letstalkdubs.com is the link to book your room. I'll also include the link in the description down below in the podcast so you can click the link and book your room for one crazy weekend. So don't wait, book it now. There's plenty of rooms open now. Book it right now. I'm just encouraging guys to do that because it really bums me out when I hear people like, oh, I tried to book and it was so expensive. We're this far out on the calendar. There's nothing that's going to be booked or blocking or increasing the rates, and everything's been situated. So I went over that with the hotel this last week, and I'm excited. There may be something else being added to the weekend as well, a coinciding event that is similar style and type and like another thing that we might like that's going to be going on the same time at the same hotel. So we'll see. We're working on some extra stuff just to make it that much more of a robust weekend for you guys, just to have so much cool stuff to do. So other than that, this last weekend I ran down to the Roadster Show. My buddy Steve Peters calls me up and he had an extra ticket to the Roadster Show. And so I told him, I said, well, listen, I'll cruise down with you. So we got up early Saturday morning at like 4 a.m. and we just bombed down there. And on the way there, I decided to stop at the Doug Berg Memorial. Doug Berg, legend in the industry. He was the middle son, passed away in his sleep just after on the 29th of December, and it was just really such a great send off for him and a celebration of life. I mean, a ton of people there, like all the who's were there. I saw Dino Don, I saw Lonnie Reed, I saw of course Clyde and Gary and Dee, and so many other people that were there. My buddy Rick Sadler was there. What's really cool is for like an hour, I'm out in the parking lot and I'm just chatting with Rick Sadler and Lonnie Reed. And this is the second time I had a long conversation with both those guys, and was frustrated that I didn't have a microphone to record this conversation because it was so cool. And we were talking about the different camps in the early days of performance Volkswagen stuff. It's definitely. It was good to go there and see a lot of people. I talked to Joel Moore. Matter of fact, I'm going to be getting Joel Moore on the podcast here soon because he brought up something interesting that we were talking about, and I'd like to do a whole podcast on the thing. So, but it was more about how we can do more racing, even though the racing scene is kind of drying up with respect to Southern California. But by the way, you do know that on Friday night they do have a test and tune pretty much every Friday night out here in Las Vegas. So if you happen to bring a fast car and you want to go test and tune, there's no reason why a bunch of you drag guys don't get out here and do some test and tune out there at the track and go put some rubber down the road at the drag strip, because every Friday during that time of year, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway has their Summit streetcar, keep the streets safe, or whatever they call it, and they do it pretty much every Friday of the month is what they do. And so you guys should definitely check that out if you're going to be in town. Might as well, right? So I'll just hop on events here real quick and look at let's see, Summit. Yeah, that's the Midnight Mayhem. They call it, well, it used to be called Midnight Mayhem, but it's pretty much every October. Oh, it looks like they don't have it in October. Interesting. Friday, August, and then the next time is in December. So interesting, and it may be because of NASCAR kicking off over there. So, but we'll definitely have lots of cool stuff happening this year. So looking forward to you guys coming. But back to the Roadster Show. So ended up going to Doug Berg's Memorial. Again, hung out there for about 2 hours. And then from there, we jetted out to the Roadster Show and in anticipation to go see Buddy Hile, who we should be having on the podcast here shortly, to go over and to discuss the whole competition that he's entered for the Slonker Award. Now, if you're not familiar with the Slonker Award, Slonker was the guy who originally started the show, the Grand National Road Show up in Sacramento, I think it was, or the Oakland. It might have been in Oakland, California. Anyway, he was the guy that originally started it, and then he wanted to make a second class that was just for non-roadsters. So the Roadster Show has the America's Most Beautiful Roadster, which, by the way, this year was won by Doug Jerger from Squeegee. So shout out to Doug. He's been on the podcast before. If you haven't heard Doug's story, go back to the archives and grab Doug Jerger's story. He's a legit hot rod builder. I mean, one of the best of the best. He's out of Arizona like Buddy as well. And he took the Roadster Award this year. And he also took a special award for his A100 pickup that he built, which was pretty insane. So, but again, another VW guy, right? So lots of VW guys hitting it out there. This year, the competition was stiff for Buddy. So Buddy had gone for the Slonker Award with Turmoil a couple years ago and got edged out by Troy Ladd, who had a Roadster he had not a Roadster, but like a vintage American car. Don't know what it was. 32. I don't know. One of the, it wasn't a Volkswagen, right? And it was a pretty tough competition, but they ended up just edging out Buddy. And this year, Buddy came to play, and he brought Karma, which is probably one of the most. It's the most detailed Volkswagen I've ever seen built, and the level of detail in this car is just absolutely incredible. If you go on my Instagram, I did a video on it where I kind of go through it, and then I've got a little video that I put together that I got to put out of my day trip down there. So, get a chance to put that out. I will here shortly. It's an incredible car with thousands and thousands of hours put into it. And it's interesting because a lot of people are going back and forth saying stuff. I mean, a lot of people really appreciate the purpose of it being built, which was to put, to kind of be out there and show that Volkswagens can compete in the day of mega cars to this day. And they did that. He won the award. In addition to winning the award, you win $12,500 prize money for the award. And some people don't get the car. They're just like, I was the same with Rodbuster, right? When I met with Chris Addington, I was just like, I don't even understand why you built Rodbuster. And he told me, if you go back and listen to Chris Addington's podcast, he says, I built it specifically to the rule book because I was set to win that class, and I built it to the rule book for the IASCA rule book that he built. So, or the competition rules in which he was competing for. So his goal was to win, same as Buddy's with that car. And Dennis Trogio, I think is his name. And, congrats to him for being the guy for putting that car together. And Buddy just, showed what they can do. And that car is just incredible, down to the brake bleeders were manufactured. They were machined in addition to the actual rotors. The rotors were machined out of a solid piece of cast iron. So it's just incredible the amount of detail that went in this car. And it's just a benchmark vehicle, just another thing where now Volkswagens in 2026 have reached the pinnacle of hot rodding and have taken, trophies like that. So it was pretty impressive. There's lots of cool stuff in there. There was, as far as Volkswagens, there was a notchback that everybody's seen. And that notchback in particular was painted like a bluish purple and had it looked like it had the Toyota Super Seats in it with the headrest with the dual side bolsters on it, and leather interior, said leather Ferrari interior. It had a Type 4, and that thing was there. Billet wheels, semaphores on the A-pillar lower part of the fender, as well as suicide door. So a lot of cool stuff he had done with that. There's a few other Volkswagens that were there, and they'll be in the video that I have coming up. But definitely it was a worthwhile event to go down there, especially to go see Karma in person, because that car is just incredible. The level of detail that's on that thing, and the interior on that car is just incredible, because the interior was a company called Recovery Room out of the Midwest, and they just do just out of sight interiors, man. This thing is no different. You think, what can you do to a VW interior? But they did do it on this car, man. And it was just awesome to see that. And there was, a lot of cool stuff out there. Other cars, so I'm into other cars too. There was a lot of Nomads this year out there. A lot of Nomads really done up. So the Nomad competition was stiff. But lots of cool stuff. And it's just great to see so many Volkswagens out, like there on the Saturday drive-in, a bunch of VWs outside. And I think next year I'd like to get a group of guys together and just go hit that for the Saturday drive-in and, kind of make a weekend out of it, because it's just a big fun hangout. And it's almost like when you're just driving there and back in a day, it's like you got to hurry up and head back out of town. But it was great to go there. Great to see it, man. And congratulations to Buddy Hile from Type 1 Restorations and Dennis for, building that car. So great job. And we'll be looking forward to getting Buddy on the podcast here soon. But that's about it for me, guys, man. I just wanted to get you guys something a little out for this week while I've got all kinds of other stuff working for you, and didn't want to leave you hanging for 2 weeks in a row. So we'll get back into it, guys, next week. And appreciate you guys for listening. We got that one coming up with Joe Moore, as well as I'm really pressing my boy Lonnie Reed to come on the podcast. He's got to get on here, as well as we're going to be talking Type 4 drag racing history with my buddy Rick Sadler. So anyway, guys, appreciate you guys for listening. You want to support Let's Talk Dubs, go to letstalkdubs.com, pick up some merch, get a cool shirt if you haven't got one yet, and make sure you show your support. Also, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and give you a shout out on the podcast as well. If you got any questions, send me an email, bill@letstalkdubs.com, and I will answer any questions that you guys have, or give you guys any advice you might be looking for. Maybe you don't want any, who knows? But anyway, that's how you get in touch with me, and be looking forward to seeing you guys. I did want to mention the show coming up. There is a show coming up in Phoenix next weekend. I don't know if I can convince the wife to go there for Valentine's Day, but there is a possibility. So I'm not for sure there, but it's the Desert Dubs, Desert Dub Fest 5, I think it is. And it's going to be next Saturday, the 14th. So you guys make sure you guys check that out. It is the Desert Dub Fest. So go check that out next week. And then I also wanted to mention real quick for SoFine Interior. Now, SoFine's finally made an arrangement with Rusty Lee Beds to get them imported to the U.S., and they've had a lot of customers that wanted these beds, but they've previously refused shipment to the U.S. just because of expenses and hassle and all that stuff. So SoFine is now the exclusive U.S. and Canada distributor for Rusty Lee's rock and roll bed. So if you're looking for a rock and roll bed for your bus, hit up SoFine Interiors. The first order of 28 frames is in production right now, and SoFine expects delivery in early February. So SoFine's offering a one-time only introductory price of $685 for the frame and wood once the shipment arrives. This price will be adjusted upwards to compensate for taxes, duty, customs, and tariffs. So upholstery will be available from SoFine for these beds, so you can order the frame and wood only or a fully upholstered product. The beds are available in a 3/4 width or a full width for a split window, bay window, and Vanagon model. So order yours today to lock in the price. So $685, and then decide on upholstery later once the frame arrives. Call 1-800-SoFine or email sales@sofineproducts.com. So don't forget, shout out to Carol. She's going to be the SoFine team. Carol and Mike will be at One Crazy Weekend again this year. So looking forward to having those guys here. Really appreciate them supporting the scene like this. And don't forget, you want a Rusty Lee's rock and roll bed, call SoFine, 1-800-SoFine. And get your rock and roll bed today. So anyway, guys, until next week, later.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.